What's up, guys? It's Amon-Rellik the Godslayer, Amon-Rellik Gaming. Today we are here in Destiny 2 Witch Queen. Today is going to be the first of 3 videos. This one is going to be me going over the current build that I'm going to be using for each one of my classes: Hunter, Warlock, and Titan. Starting off with my main character, the Hunter. Of course, this is a public service announcement to say that I am not in any way a master of this game in any way. I do not excel in PvP for real, and on what you could probably say average PvE wise. I don't do raid content because I don't really hang with people on this game. I play mainly solo. So this is just basically from more of a casual player's point of view of the builds that I've come up with that I like to use. These are basically builds just meant to let you take I guess you could say a template of what's there, and then tweak it to your liking if you do like the build as a whole in some way. So let's get into it. First and foremost, I just got through getting the catalyst for the Outbreak perfected and completing it. Real short tangent on the Outbreak perfected. After having some time to play with it, with its catalyst as well, its catalyst is nice in the fact that it can keep the nanites active a little longer. But what I noticed is that it doesn't totally reset the nanite amount. So when I headshot kill an enemy, 9 nanites will sprout out, and they'll all latch onto another enemy. Well, let's say those 9 nanites latch that other enemy and kill it. It won't be 9 nanites that sprout out again and move on to another enemy. It's not like that. It's the amount of nanites that go to the next target significantly drop from the previous 9, and I think it continues to do that as it gets to like the next. As it goes on down the line. I think it's probably like down. It might even get down to like the max of 4 or 5, I think. But the ad clear of this weapon isn't necessarily even though it's a component. I think people get it misconstrued that this weapon's main use is that as an ad clearing pulse rifle. I don't really think it is. I think it's more of a one of those rare types. It's one of those rare kinetic primaries that can really do decent DPS against bosses. It's like a boss primary weapon, because the damage can climb and climb and climb to a certain point because of the nanites, on a single target especially. So yeah, nice gun. I like using it as my primary. It's one of my favorite aesthetically looking. I'm a big Siva lover as well, so that's something that I will say that this is more of a guilty pleasure outside of my build. All right, I've gone on my tangent about Outbreak Perfected, one of my favorite guns, but surprisingly not as useful as you would want it to be, considering that aesthetically it's just beautiful. But okay. Outside of Outbreak, I'm using Snorri FR5. Now, this is my go-to void weapon, which I will only use in terms of a specific moments. Like, for one, I try to make it a tiered thing. So this is usually for my ads. This is usually for like if I'm going against yellow bars and things of that nature, and of course this is boss DPS, and of course you can kind of intertwine, especially now with the way the new void works. You can intertwine this as ad clear as well, because of the different things you can do with void. Now, first thing we'll do is we'll start with the actual void subclass itself. As you all know, void has gotten an overhaul, and it's gotten basically the stasis overhaul. People call it void 3.0. I just call it the void stasis overhaul. And In the beginning, I was using Mobius Quiver, which was cool to Fallout 3, but I ended up changing my actual exotic on my armor, which made me change to using the Deadfall Shadow Shot. So we're using that. I'm using Gambler's Dodge to reload my melee. Get that my melee is a lot more useful in terms of like it helps me reset my invisibility when I need to. Triple jump, snare bomb, which is the only melee you have as a hunter on this, on Void like that. And then of course I'm using scatter grenade. Now the reason why I'm using scatter grenade specifically is because of how Deadfall works. Because when Deadfall, it creates one void anchor, but it anchors down a bunch of enemies, and its reach can be a little bit farther than where the trap itself is. And so because of that, I want scatter grenades to be able to reach out and grab them. I mean, you can use vortex, but if you've got enemies that are outside of the vortex's pool, but they're actually still tagged by the void anchor, not a lot of them will get hit, So yeah, that's one reason for that. I'm using the aspect vanishing step, and I'm using the stylish executioner as well, to make me go invisible as many times as possible by killing a defeated, suppressed, or volatile target. Makes me invisible. It gives me true sight, basically wall hacks. After performing a stylish execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens targets, and so I can then throw down a snare bomb, which will weaken them, which will further weaken them. I believe. I doubt it, but I'm hoping that it does. But what it also does is it kind of like puts everybody in it's like a smoke trap, so it kind of fucks with their ability to aim at me and things of that nature, drops their accuracy down. When it comes to what I'm using in fragments, Echo of Expulsion, of course, makes all of my void abilities, whatever I do, whether it be the grenade, melee, makes the enemies explode. That's more AoE, of course. And then it's plus 10 intellect, why not? I'm using Echo of Starvation. Picking up an Orb of Power grants me Devour. Devour is great because it instantly restores you to full health, and it grants grenade energy, so we always want to keep our grenade going. And then, of course, on top of that, you can extend Devour by killing during it. Echo of Instability, basically defeating targets with my grenades grants me volatile rounds, which is basically my to your void weapon. So any void weapon you have is going to have volatile rounds, which is going to make them volatile, which makes them prone to explode. So it's basically like having Dragonfly, but a more effective Dragonfly. And then it's of course plus 10 strength. And then I'm using Echo of Persistence, which is void buffs applied to me, whether it be invisibility, overshield, or devour. They have increased duration. Now the reason why I use this is because I want my invisibility to last long enough, and it's mainly because of my heavy, for one, and then on two, just get a chance to get some health back just in case things get crazy, and of course for my devour. So that's what I'm using that for the synergy of all those. And of course, this weapon is using Reservoir Burst, which you would have to, when you have a fusion rifle that has a Reservoir Burst, you tend to use this fusion rifle differently than you would normally use one, in the sense that you would fire, you would usually fire all of your rounds out of the magazine, maybe down to like the last one, or maybe go fully out. Let's say you got a spec where you actually reload faster if you empty the magazine, something like that. But when it comes to any kind of fusion rifle with Reservoir Burst, you find yourself constantly shooting the first shot, reloading, shooting the first shot to keep Reservoir Burst going with each shot. Especially considering that Reservoir Burst is basically that. It's an explosion. And of course, as you know, explosions are beautiful. Especially if you have things like volatile. Because the explosions will also make, the others around you volatile as well. the ones that get hit by the explosion. Now, when it comes to the rocket launcher, I'm using the Palmyra, and I'm using the one that has lasting impression. If you notice, whenever you see lasting impression on a rocket launcher, the blast radius is always the highest you can almost be. And the reason why I like using this is because with Hunter, I can go invisible and wait for the patient moment to pop it, you know, and to get a point. Because even though I have to, you know, it's one of those things where if it misses, yo, and it doesn't really have, like, it has tracking, but the tracking on it isn't as aggressive as I would like. But to have tracking and have that extra damage from lasting impression, you can't really, you know, you can't really go wrong. But I wanted to make sure I have enough invisibility to be able to properly aim that thing and not, you know, and try to miss as much as possible. Of course, what we have over here is we have our just our normal. I try to get gear that's anything over 70, so that's what I've been rolling with. So a lot of this gear is old, but the main exotic I'm using is Orpheus Rig, mainly because it grants Deadfall, Quiver Energy. This basically is going to allow me to when I use it, let me see if I can find it. Provides additional ability energy for each target tethered by Deadfall anchors. Mobius Quiver has an additional shot. Now, when it says ability energy, it also means super energy. So, like for instance, I can cast my super, and even though my super is literally just one arrow shot, with the amount of enemies that I'll kill, that it'll be attached to, I'll damn near get half my super back instantly, you know. And so it allows me to be able to use this move a lot, rather a good amount of times during any major engagement, you know. Which on top of that will free up the orbs of power for Devourer, of course. And here I'm just using Volatile Flow. The main things I'm going to show you is Volatile Flow, which, you know, picking up a Void Elemental Well will allow me volatile rounds as well. Getting super back on my grenades killed, which is going to add on to Mobius, to Orpheus Rig. I'm using, of course, Elemental Ordnance to get these wells to spawn for my grenade kills. I'm using, of course, causing damage with my melee will bring back my grenade. Of course, I'm using an Unstoppable Pulse Rifle mod because of I'm using a pulse. High energy fire because I do have a charge with light set up. So I'm gonna also be getting charged with light, which is gonna give me a weapon damage bonus, or across the board for all 3 weapons. You know, so that's one of those tried and true. You always want to have a charge with light, high energy fire build, so that, you know, you always get that juice and power. When it comes to Orpheus Rig, I'm using Elemental Charge to become charged with light where I get an Elemental Well of any kind. So I'll be getting volatile rounds and I'll be getting charged with light ×2, because this also gives me a second stack if I have an Elemental Well that is, of course, matching my subclass. This is going to be great because it's going to keep me with decent amounts of charge with light, as well as making even more use of these of the Void Elemental Wells. Then we have Absolution, which is reducing all of my ability cooldowns each time I pick up an Overpower. And like I said before, we're going to be shooting our super as often as we can get it, because we're going to be getting it back so quickly. As long as we can get a good group of enemies together, we're going to be using it as ad clear, you know, outside of just, you know, trying to, like, you know, pin down a boss with it as well or whatever. When it comes to our class weapon, our class item, we're going to be doing Quick Charge. So any rapid kills with a fusion rifle, which I will be getting rapid kills with this fusion rifle. I'll show you in a little bit. I know this is a long beginning part of the video, but I wanted to show you my builds in detail so that when you see all the working components in the game, you can actually, you know, have an understanding of what components are working and how they're working. So yeah, this is going to be great. So I'm going to get charged with light every time that happens. Suppression mastery, of course, so just any kind of suppressive abilities I have, if I end up having any, or if any ones I end up causing, they just increase in duration. It's one of those things where why not have it? And of course, overload grenades, just to make my grenades a little bit more useful, you know. Beyond that, you know, of course, fusion rifle ammo finder, and you know, yeah. So beyond that, that's basically what we got. And of course, we got the solar and arc damage resistance, just because, you know, the loose and brood can be annoying. So outside of that, Deadfall itself, it weakens and suppresses enemies. So that suppression will may last even longer than when the ability stops, when my super ability stops working. See what I'm saying? The target is taken out of any active abilities and cannot activate any abilities or movement modes while suppression persists. So even if that whole super goes away, suppression will last longer than my weaken will. See what I'm saying? So it's a good crowd control, all is what I'm saying. All right, so now that we have everything set up and we actually have everything there, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and do the seasonal activity, the main seasonal activity, the 6-man thing that everybody does. What's this? Oh, there's more. I thought I did that already, but we'll do this. And today it's attack. And what weapon are we going for today? Come to pass. All right. And again, you know, feel free in the comment section to critique that, you know, oh man, you went so deep into that. You didn't have to go all deep into that. I understand. It's just, I like to be, you know, I like to be concise. Not so much as concise, but I like to be analytical whenever I speak about, especially when it comes to builds, because I like for every piece to be given its light. Because that's what a build is. It's taking a bunch of different working components and coming up with a set way of how combat will be done based on those small components coming together to work as one big machine. And you know, if you truly want to know a machine, you gotta know all its working parts. So it's highly appreciated if your attention span was able to make it to this point to where I'm actually gonna put it into action. Hopefully the game itself doesn't decide to take forever. Ah, here we are. I'll take it.
Wellspring belongs to Hive. Why take from them?
Now you see where it stays right there? Anything that would come within it would get will basically get stuck. Alright. Alright. Up and at them to go. Got it down. Alright. Let's show you how this clown works. If I kill one of them, it'll attack one. Oh. Ah, so he's got that out. Okay, now you see how I got overshield. So now we can go over this, and as you can see, and now I actually have Reservoir Burst, but it's not showing up because I got so many things going at once. Now you see Reservoir Burst. I throw that down. That does that. I got Reservoir Burst, and I've got, of course, Charge of Light. So I can go back here. Well, never mind. Now you see how there's only like 3 or 4 now? And of course I got Devour. Now you see all that volatile that's happening there? Alright. We got volatile. And you see how I go invisible because of that? Beautiful, right? Beautiful. Now, when you see that Reservoir Burst, they just explode. But when I do that volatile round version, and I instantly get charged with like twice, beautiful. All right, we're gonna try and show off.
Hive won't back down. They've signed their own death warrants.
Shoot. There we go.
Well, Sprig's weak. Let's keep at it.
All right. And as you can see, the destruction gets... Woo! Yeah, bro. he'll eat you up. He'll eat you alive. He'll eat you alive. Where we at? Oh, wait. Yeah, I decided to wait on that. That was a little bit more, yeah. There we go. All right. Let's get the show on the road, people. Put some nanites on that ass. There you go. All right, here we go. Oh! Well, I didn't get enough enemies with that shot to get it back as much as I wanted.
Brood shields are weakened. Let's get them.
As you can see how quickly the oh no. You can almost dodge, get out of there. Oh shoot! I thought I had my dodge. Crap! I didn't mean to do that. I thought I had my dodge. I was gonna dodge, but I ended up slide. I was gonna dodge. I decided I didn't have it. I was gonna go invisible and heal him. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, right there. Woo! That invisibility saved my ass.
That's it for the hot.
Anyway, hey, love your work. Impressive as always.
Never a dull moment, Guardian. Great work.
And so basically, would be you would throw out the deadfall, and then you would immediately, especially in a pack, would throw the deadfall down, and then you would immediately throw the grenade out and let that widespread do its job. The vortex grenade can be useful with it, but I like using this one as well. Sometimes if I'm a little too bored with using that one, I'll do the dust one again. I'll go back to the dust field one or the vortex one. But beyond that, the idea is just using your invisibility as a safe as a safe means of getting out of things, and then of course having that as well as a good way to, you know, get yourself back into invisibility whenever you need it. But that's basically the gist of the build. A good partial stealth slash crowd controllers build, and with the way Void is now, crowd control is like the name of the game. So in the next one, I'll show you guys the Warlock build, and we can get into the specifics of it. Thanks guys for watching. I'm Amon-Rellik the God Slayer. I'm Amon-Rellik Gaming. We out.